Hi, I'm Adeife Adeoye, and this is Somewhere on Earth. I'm in Doha. It's it's Tuesday, February the 2nd, 2026, and we're at Web Summit Qatar. Welcome to the Global Health Podcast. And coming up today, it's another show from Web Summit Qatar, and today we're discussing AI and marketing. Where are marketers using AI now, and will it ever be part of the creative process? And then we're going to Nigeria again, and another female-led tech solution. This time we're not looking at health though, but at jobs. In a market that's rife with fraud from both employers and employees, could a new platform help women find work? Let's get started. Now, Web Summit Qatar is bursting at the seams. Startups, investors and big tech brushing shoulders and almost elbowing past each other. And a major stage at this event is the marketing stage, where advertisers, marketeers and creators share their knowledge and current practices. And these are changing fast. One thing is clear, AI is no longer just supporting marketing teams. It's starting to act on their behalf. Planning campaigns, generating creative, testing ideas, optimizing performance, and doing it all at machine speed. As discovery shifts from search engines to AI agents, the big question becomes, what really drives choice, creativity, and connection in this new world? Today, we're looking at where Agentic AI is already making a real difference and how marketeers balance automation and human emotion. And what changes when machines start recommending, designing and deciding for us? Well, to explore all of that, I'm joined by Wilfrid Obeng, co-founder of AudioMob. Thank you for joining us on Somewhere on Earth. Now, first of all, tell me how AI is currently supporting your work.
Yeah, so thank you first and foremost. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast. I think the way AI has been supporting our business is with the actual creative generation. So usually what would happen is you would need a voice actor to create any type of audio advertising or on radio advertising or even podcast advertising. But what we're seeing with AI is allowing more people to get very creative with audio. And I think the beautiful thing about audio is it's a lot cheaper to build. There's a lot of cool things you can do with audio, which sometimes people don't realize. Like, even using basic things like the left and right channel, some things around like people using 3D audio where you can move around and feel the experience. And I think it really does tap into something that we as humans have been accustomed to for such a long time. And when I say that, I mean how we engage with audio, how you are always able to do other things while having the radio in the background, listening to an audiobook, listening to a podcast. And it does have a very strong recall, even in comparison to video, because of this.
Now, this is where AI is now, and this is what you're doing with it there. Where is it struggling, though?
It's a good question. I think it's struggling, but I guess the bits I would say it's struggling is sometimes with the emotive parts of human voice. But when I say struggling, I think with AI you always have to put that in a time frame. It's like it's struggling right now, but maybe in 6 months' time it's not going to be a problem. And we're already seeing that with solutions. For example, solutions we're developing internally, but also solutions like ElevenLabs. Matty was on stage earlier, and he was describing things around how emotion is now capable in ElevenLabs, but beyond that, actually, how emotion is capable in other languages. So you're keeping the person's same tonality, same timbres in their voice, but you are now having them speak Spanish. But it sounds like Wilfred speaking Spanish or Anya speaking Spanish, not a random voice speaking Spanish. And I think we are definitely getting there. It's not even a question anymore that in the next 6 to 12 months, you will have full emotion that isn't detectable by humans, because humans are very good with understanding, like we think we're not, but little details in the way someone speaks, you can go, well, that was slightly off. But I do think we'll get to the point in 6 to 12 months where you're like, I actually can't tell the difference at all.
Well, that's really interesting, because I was at the podcast show last year, and there was a French company trialing out exactly that whole issue of translating your voice, and I was like a bit dubious, and I said, okay, right, we'll do it for Polish. And I compared, we compared MP3s because I speak fluent Polish, and so the AI Polish was better because I was taught Polish by my parents, a generation ago. I wasn't brought up in Poland, and so ironically, the AI made me sound more kind of current Polish.
Oh, wow.
So it didn't quite sound like me, but it would have sounded like me, I think, if I was brought up there. So, but it certainly is almost there, and AI podcasting is becoming a bigger and bigger thing. I know that some of our listeners out there are not keen because we've tried it out a little bit, but there are companies in America who are flooding the market and making it for just literally a few dollars per episode, and that is some area that you're actually saving money in, isn't it? Because you do audio ads, don't you? So explain how all of that works and how that is, and how AI is saving you money there.
Yeah, so basically, when me and my co-founder Christian started this company, it was around just something that annoyed us. So we were playing a lot of games and apps, and then everyone's experienced that 30-second video ad that blocks your experience. And our whole premise or thesis, if you like, was, is there a better way of doing this? Is there a better value exchange? We're not saying, advertising is the best thing since sliced bread. I think that would be a bit disingenuous. But what we are saying is there is a value exchange to be made here, right? If we're going to consume content for free, nothing is really for free. You have to have something to help monetize and remunerate the people who have created this content. So this is why we were very keen in, is there a better value exchange? Because these video ads are disruptive. They annoy the user, and also the other problem is people aren't paying attention to that video because they're like, well I'll put the phone down, or I'll go out and make a cup of coffee or make a tea, and they're not really concentrating. So we're like, is there a better value exchange? And when we thought about it, we're like, wait, podcast was booming at this stage, and we were like, what if you put these audio ads in a place of these video ads in these games and apps? And that was basically the thesis. Would we improve the game and apps retention because the users are less annoyed? And would we allow these games and apps to generate more money? And we've proven out that thesis over the last 5 years, that it is true actually. You annoy the user less, and you allow them to these game and app developers to generate revenue.
Right. So you've got less annoyed gamers. You've got cheaper product. So everybody should be happening, but there's also an issue here. How creative is this AI? Because there's no point you creating a campaign that isn't going to work.
So I think this is another cool thing with audio, right? So with video, it's definitely, we're going to get there to the point where we'll be able to create video on the fly and change it automatically, but we're not quite there yet. You still have to render, you still have to create these different video permutations. It's going to take a couple of minutes. Before it would have taken hours and if not days, but we're at the minute stage. The cool thing about audio is it's a lot cheaper to create and it's a lot quicker to create. So we're able to do cool things because when we get, like, for example, an ad request from a user, it's basically saying, hey, I'm someone, let's just give a random example, from Brighton, and I've got a Samsung device and my phone's device language is set to Spanish, for example. People might think, that's not a lot of context, but it actually is a lot of context that we have now to then automatically on the fly do things with time of day. So if it's, for example, the morning, the afternoon, the evening, you can already say good morning. We now know your device is in Spanish, so we can say, actually, don't make the creative in English, make it in Spanish. It'll probably be more effective. Then there's other things we can say, with things we can do with the network carrier you're on, the device type you're on, and then we create these very hyper-personalized messages. So for example, good morning, I know you're paying, for example, Hold.io, have you thought about reaching your nearest coffee shop? So we're able to string those sentences together very quickly and create those hyper-personalized messages on the fly. And I think the beauty of this is that we can A/B test at scale. So we can do thousands of these permutations and see what is the most effective for getting people to engage with which audio message. And sometimes it's not even around audio ads actually, because we do a lot of stuff with the government. So it's actually around sometimes government messages like don't drink and drive. Those kind of messages as well, which is super interesting. It's like, how can you get the message to maybe permeate young people? How do you get to permeate particular people or demographics? This is where it gets very interesting, and we're able to then tell, actually, this kind of messaging works very well in this city. This kind of messaging works very well for this demographic. And we're able to then feed that back also to the advertiser or the person creating the messaging.
But will it ever bring the passion? Because I think there's a lot of passion, and you guys get very invested in some campaigns, and that then then you can see that in the delivery of the campaign. Will you ever have that passion and that dedication from an AI?
So I think this is definitely where I differ with a lot of people who study computer science, and I feel like there is still a human element that I think that's in there when you say the word passion, where I would say like it gives me a more of a, like, if you look at the definition, it's more of an emotive definition. And I think that emotion, like even if you look at the models that are being created, it's not based on emotion. It's based on pattern recognition and understanding patterns in data and then creating these messages to us. So although like when you type in a message into your favorite LLM, like for example ChatGPT, Anthropic, you may feel as though you're getting this kind of message that is a thinking being doing something, but it's actually pattern recognition. It's actually what is the most likely answer to this question based on a very huge model. So I think that is where there's a bit of a misconception about what's going on, and that's where I would say passion is a human thing, right? It's a feeling thing, it's a direction thing, it's like how I feel today, whereas humans aren't feeling. Now, maybe someone might argue
AI
with me.
isn't feeling.
AI, is not feeling. So maybe someone might argue with me that and say, well, can we replicate that? So like we can synthesize the idea of feeling. And that's an interesting debate, but I think right now we're not at that stage. So I think right now the AI and the computers are not feeling. So I wouldn't say they will replace the emotion stage. And the way I see it more with the creative pieces, just like every other technology, I think AI is an assistant to the human. It's just we have an even more powerful assistant this time. I feel like this is a more transformative assistant, like in terms of our roles. But I still feel like that direction, and that, I think someone mentioned on stage yesterday, and I forgot who it is, it's like the AI doesn't see around the corners. And I think that's something humans do, actually, the future piece. And I think that is super important, and I don't think we're currently, and I have to be careful with AI, right? We're currently replicating.
Yeah, absolutely. And you also haven't got that diversity, I think, with human thinking. Because obviously the more and more we learn about neurodiversity and how people think differently, you realise how much potential creativity there is out there. And I mean, I can't imagine an AI being that creative, but then, as you say, the future is the future, and we'll have to see. Wilfred, thank you so much for joining us. You're going to stay, though, behind for the pod extra, so just sit tight a little bit while we continue and talk to our next guest. Now, first of all, tell me your name so I know how to pronounce it.
Adeife.
And your surname?
Adeoye.
Adeoye, right. Okay, so Adeife is going to join us now as we turn our attention to a pressing challenge facing Africa's most populous nation: the struggle to secure meaningful employment in a labour market that often works against job seekers. In Nigeria today, more than 23 million people are either unemployed or underemployed, and the vast majority of workers earn a living in the informal economy where jobs are insecure and unverified. Now, traditional hiring methods have broken down. CVs are frequently unverifiable. Recruitment fraud is rife. Many candidates face exploitation as they chase opportunities in an unpredictable system. So enter the market WorkHers, a new Nigerian startup with a mission to change the story for women. Designed to help women find real, verifiable employment, WorkHers is building a platform that connects female job seekers with employers, cutting out scam intermediaries, sorry, I'll put my teeth back in, and bringing transparency to a market where 92% of workers are informal and vulnerable. In a country where many graduates struggle to translate hard-earned qualifications into stable work and often confront exploitative practices just to get a foot in the door, WorkHers aims to offer a safer, smarter way to find careers that empower women and strengthen Nigeria's workforce. So Adeife, you are CEO?
Yes.
Founder of WorkHers. You are here at Web Summit. I met you on the startup stand. Yes. First of all, tell me what WorkHers is all about.
Okay, so right now it's actually remote worker, and we are an all-in-one career platform. So, like I was telling you, the job search in Nigeria is exhausting. There's just so much things to do, right? So you go on LinkedIn to look for jobs, then there's Coursera to look for courses, there's Udemy to look for courses, then you have to Then about AI to help them with your resume and then your emails, and then you have to be on YouTube. It's just so exhausting, especially for women, because then we have so much other things that we are doing. These women have kids, right? So we thought, instead of, and there's just so much fragmentation in the market, so we're like, instead of going through all these platforms, why not put everything together, right, into an all-in-one career platform? So you just need one thing, one workspace where you can come into the workspace and you can go from not knowing anything, right, being confused, and then you have clarity, and then you're hired. So we have the B2C part, which is the career platform, the all-in-one career platform. So the workspace where you have access to jobs and courses. You also have community and accountability partner. You can find mentors. Then we also have the B2B part. And this is where it gets interesting. Like you said, there are a lot of unverifiable jobs in Nigeria, a lot of scam jobs. What we are doing is, for every job that comes into our platform, we verify it. So just the way there is like business registration here with the QFC, we also have something called the CAC in Nigeria. So if you are registered with the CAC, it means you pay taxes and your business is registered. So
it's like a company's house in the UK, for instance, right? So you create a company, you have to register, you have to, provide your accounts. You've got to show that you are genuine and you're paying your taxes.
Exactly. So before you can post a job on our platform, we need to see your CAC registration number. That reduces the scam to like 0. Because if you have a business and you're paying taxes, you're not a scam. Because there are a lot of scams in Nigeria right now. It's like everybody's posting jobs and then you're applying. And then there's also like the insecurity issues. Some people post jobs so that you can come, so they can do whatever they want to do.
And there have been some horrific cases. There was a case of kidnapping, wasn't there?
Exactly.
And so, this, especially for women, this is, a potentially very dangerous situation.
Very scary. Some people will post jobs on like WhatsApp group with like locations and like come to this location, and then they kidnap you, right? So what we do is, for every job that go on our platform, we need to verify your CAC. If you don't have a CAC, you're not posting a job.
Now, this platform of yours is specifically designed for women.
Yes.
Now, someone may look at this and think, she's just cut her client base in half.
Yeah, sure.
But you are fine with that, because
I'm fine with that.
You have a specific reason for that. Tell me more.
So for me I'm also a content creator. And before I was a content creator, I used to work as a product-led content marketer for B2B SaaS brands. And then I started creating content about it. And then I realized a lot of women don't have these skills. A lot of women don't know what is going on. In a continent like Africa, especially a country like Nigeria, there is still this stereotype with women, and women stay in the house, be in the kitchen, right? Men, I always say this thing, men are raised to work, unlike women. So for me I started this brand to give women the opportunity that I had. My dad was a freelancer, so he opened me up to things that normally I wouldn't have access to if not for my dad. And I wanted to give that access to women. So I don't care if my customer base is cut in half. It's fine, it's okay. I'm still going to focus on women. A lot of men have asked me. In fact, a lot of people will be like, Adeife, if you can just expand this a little bit, men have more money to pay. I'm like, yeah, that's the reason why we need to do this for women, right? So, yeah.
Absolutely. So, it's... And for me as well, I also think employers are, you can see the benefit for employees. Yeah. But employers, though, they also want to have a verified CV, don't they? How are you going to do that part of it to make sure that your candidates are also good and they're not also trying to pull a fast one on a potential employer?
Right, good. Actually, thank you so much for that question. So we have something on the platform called Vetted Talent. You apply to be vetted. So this is a manual process. So we use AI, but we've realized AI cannot accurately vet like human beings would. So there is a manual process called Vetted Talent. And then we're going to ask for your CV, your portfolio, your LinkedIn. We're going to go through it ourselves. This process takes like 5 days. We go through it ourselves and we vet you, or we don't vet you. Now, if we're sending talent to employers, we send them vetted talent. Now, for these talents, they know that these talents are trusted. They have the CVs, they have the portfolios, they have the experience. That is how we are able to, mitigate the whole, unreliable talent thing.
And are you using AI to do that, or people?
No. People, because we've realized
that the AI is not
like, it is good, very good, but there's nuance, especially with people's experiences. right? For a mother, for instance, I could have been, okay, what if I had like a career gap or a job gap? AI would probably see that and say, oh, she's not good enough. But as human, I can see it and be like, oh yeah, she went for maternity leave. It's okay. It doesn't make her not good enough.
Because you also don't want to flag that up. That look, a period of maternity leave.
Exactly. So I feel like AI is not yet there. It doesn't have the nuance that we humans have and doesn't have that empathy, and we really want to do that with the vetting process, because if we put it to AI, it can actually take a lot of people out and those people can be qualified. But with human beings, I can say, oh, okay, yeah, you were in school, you were this, and oh, you took a break because you had like mental health issues, which we have to put that into consideration. AI wouldn't. AI would just say, oh, this is not a good candidate, and this is not it. So yeah, we don't want that.
You don't want that. And what are you hoping to get here at Web Summit?
To be honest, this is my first time at Web Summit, and I'm just looking to explore. I just want to meet people. I want to see other people's products. I want to meet people, do stuff like this. I just really want to explore right now. I'm open to investments, but still not. I'm trying to find our footing first in the market before I then say, okay, you know what, bring us your money. So I just really want to see what's out there for me in Qatar, just explore. I came here to register my business, just try to see what's going on. Yeah.
So Adeife Adeoye, the remote WorkHers platform, that is launching next month.
Yes, no, March. Yes,
March. Yes, it is next month.
March 1st.
March the 1st in Nigeria. So if you are listening in Nigeria, please do check them out, as it could be a potential way to further your career. So that is all for this week. Just a quick reminder, we have all the shows on our YouTube channels. Please go and check us out there. Do rate us on your favorite podcasting platform. We need to disrupt those algorithms very much. Get in touch via hello@somewhereonearth.co or via WhatsApp on +44 7486 329 484 or on our socials. The sound engineer is Jonas Diaz. The production manager is Liz Tui, and I'm the editor. Until next week. Now, thank you for staying back for the Pod Extra. Still with us are the guests from the podcast. Wilfred and Adeife are at the podcast booth here at Web Summit. I'm sure you can hear. We haven't got the music from the central stage now. We had that yesterday, I believe, in the recording, but we are still here. Wilfred, you've been listening to Adeife about remote workers. Any advice for marketing the new platform?
Well, I think what we've learned from the continent and Africa is it's definitely mobile first. So I think that's the first thing that popped into mind.
Yeah.
And I think you know this more than anyone. Is like the whole landline kind of got skipped and it goes straight to mobile, which is good. I actually think it's really good because that's something everyone has around. That's something that everyone has in their hand. So we've definitely seen that even ourselves. Like some of our biggest, people don't know actually, some of our biggest countries in terms of like actual people in the apps and in the games is actually India, Nigeria, Brazil. It's all of the global south actually. It's just the marketers don't pay as much as obviously they don't pay as much attention and also as much revenue in the US and in they pay more attention in the US and in the UK and
obviously.
Germany because of the prices that they get in terms of revenue. However, I keep saying this, if you monetized all of the people that are in these games and apps, we would actually make more money in the global south.
Definitely.
So this is where I do think there's a massive opportunity. And I think people have come wise to this. And I think even the governments have come wise to this. Like the Indian government have been like, for example, helping subsidize and get more people online, making data cheaper, because they realize this is how people are going to build new businesses, build new companies, and actually help. So I think that has been a very wise strategy, honestly, that we've seen in India. And I know there's a number of countries on the continent of Africa who are doing the same, where they're really trying to subsidize and rebuild the infrastructure. For example, like in Rwanda, for example, in like South Africa, in Ghana, in Nigeria, people are really trying to build the infrastructure up. So yeah, I'd say in terms of marketing, it's definitely digital and it's definitely mobile. So it's what is the best way to reach people. But I'm sure you already know this better than anyone.
Thank you. Just a thing, yesterday I was moderating a session about moving from regional marketing to global marketing, and how a lot of companies struggle with that. And that's one thing that came out very much, and we also recorded in the podcast that, the Western approach is not going to work for Qatar. It's not going to work for Nigeria.
Yeah, obviously.
But AI now is allowing to take the basis of a successful campaign and culturalize it. Do you agree with that? Or do you think we have to start from the beginning with each place?
No, I agree to some extent. I think the problem we have is a lot of these models are very English-centric. So that is the problem we have. However, I think we are getting better, and I think governments are getting wiser to this. Like, for example, you're seeing in the Middle East, a lot of the governments are building their own Arabic models, which I think is great.
Yeah.
And if you're looking at countries like Nigeria, like Ghana, like Kenya, etc., there's multiple dialects and multiple languages being spoken. So I do think there is an interesting thing. Like there's some interesting case studies with some marketers in some campaigns in India, because there's so many different languages, and usually English is used as the bridge language in India.
Yeah.
So they will speak amongst themselves in different areas with a particular language, but then when they go to speak across different regions, they use English as a bridge. So what is cool is with AI, you can then, especially with voice, make different voices for the different regions using AI. Now, I would say the only issue is the models don't yet have enough information and enough data in those languages.
Yeah.
So I think we'll get there, and I think it will be amazing actually to finally see, and I think it will be a good equalizer to help people actually reach people, and I think that's the cool thing with AI. The other side, and I think maybe something that's really interesting, is though that concerns me, and I'll be honest, is I do not like the concentration of the models being mostly in Western countries. I do feel there needs, like, those countries owe it to themselves and their people also to have a stakehold in those models. It's their culture, it's their language. So I think that's where I would love to see more of the governments be a bit more aware of it in the global south, and say, hey, actually, if you're going to build this model, we should have a stake, or we should build our own model, which is.
And this is something we have reported on already, that looking at LLMs in African languages, and even kind of breaking them up. Because people say, oh yeah, we're doing something in Kiswahili, and you're like, well, is that the Kenyan Kiswahili? Is that the which part are we talking about? So. You've got all these nuances, and not only with the African languages, but with the Arabic languages, because people just talk about Arabic as if it's one language. Well, it's not. And this is
Nigeria is the same. We have about over 300 languages in Nigeria alone, and people just know like 3. This is the Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa, but we have like 300 languages. So
I mean, the BBC Hausa service is very famous, but that only serves the Hausa community. But there are other communities that also need to hear this. And how are you going to do this? Is your platform going to be in English, or are you going to regionalize that as well?
Actually, we're thinking of localizing it, but right now it's going to start with English, and then we localize it. The truth is, we cannot start localizing because then we don't know what people want. So the thing with different languages, there are 3 major languages in Nigeria. So if we even want to localize, it's going to be Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa. There are not a lot of data on those other languages for us to localize, to them. So there's a lot of data on Yoruba, there's a lot of data on Igbo, and there's a lot of data on Hausa. But for instance, if I'm going to TIFF, I don't know anybody speaking TIFF. So we're going to start with English first, and then we're going to move to the Yoruba language and then Igbo language. We're also thinking of taking it to other countries as well, but it's going to be their major languages as well. Just like you said, there's not a lot of data on the other smaller languages for us to even do anything on it.
So what's next then? You're going to have the platform?
Yeah.
Then will there be an app that I can just take it with me?
So right now we are launching March 1st, so it's going to start with the web platform. Once we see the demand and we see how people like it, which we know they will, because then we have thousands of people already on our wait list. So once we see that and we see the demand, we're like, okay, cool. The next phase is getting it, on an app, just to see that, and then the next one is going to be localization, because we really want to make it across Nigeria, and we want to go beyond Nigeria. So like Ghana, we have a lot of people in Ghana, a lot of people in Cameroon. Like I said, this company has been existing before this platform. I think I told you that. It was a community before because I create content. And I was able to grow a very large audience. I think we have like almost 1 million people. So I was able to grow a very large audience of women saying, oh, I want this, right? So we have people across Africa, so beyond Nigeria. So after we move from the web app to the mobile app, we are going to go into, then let's look at different parts of Nigeria. We want to get into the north because we focused so much on the south and the west, but we haven't really touched the north at all. It's like a different ballgame entirely. So we want to get to the northern part of Nigeria, and because they really need it. I feel like with the west and the south, they are more enlightened. They already know all these things exist. But the north is more like, women, we have to bring you to this. You have to do this. So we want to capture the north. Then we go to Ghana, we go to Kenya, Cameroon.
Yeah, I think there is a real, having travelled myself into the north of Nigeria.
Yeah, the north,
Kaduna, Kano.
No.
It definitely, women need help.
They do. The west is more, they're more advanced. I don't want to use the word civilized, please.
It's a different culture, very much.
They're more like advanced with AI, and they know all these things exist. So with the west and the east. But with the north, because of, I would say, the culture with women and being very hush-hush, women have to stay at home and the husband thing, and so it's not as rampant yet. So we want to get there. But with the west and the south, like, women are killing it already.
I will tell you a story once we finish recording about women in the north. They are amazing. Northern Nigeria. Now, I am very conscious that we are coming up to the top of the hour and our time is coming to an end. So, final thoughts, Wilfred. Anything else you want to tell our listeners? Anything you want to say?
No, I think I think the thing I would say is it's exciting times. I think in terms of not just marketing, I think in terms of being what you can actually do with tools that are out there. I do think it's going to be really important for these models to be distributed, and I mean distributed in terms of control. Because I don't think it's right that right now we basically have 3 companies own the majority of the AI tools, and I also think there's a massive opportunity in the global south. But I think we may end up in a this is my hope that it doesn't end up like this, but in a way that it's going to be still all the models and all the technology and all the tools being developed in the Western countries and then utilized by everyone else, and in the East as well, I should say, also in China. And I think we do need the governments to wise up a bit to kind of realize they all need to have their own stake, and they all need to be informing their communities and informing their population to create their own models and build their own technology.
Wilfred, thank you. Adeife, any final thoughts before we go?
No, not really. I don't have any.
Good luck with the launch on the 1st.
I think I've said everything I wanted to say.
So that's it from this week's show and from Web Summit Qatar for today. Until next week, goodbye.